This is the Derek King Sports Show. Cardinals, Blues, Mizzou Athletics, Chiefs. He has it covered. The Derek King Sports Show. Only on Gateway City Sports.
All right, everybody. We are in studio real briefly, taking a break from the Cardinals opening day game. Some breaking news, if you haven't seen it or read it yet, but it's out there. Apparently, there is some issues with the Spanos family. There's some infighting. There's some ugly stuff going on. So we're going to touch on that real quick, and then we're going to talk. We're going to make this as quick as we can. Report that Dean Spanos' sister asks court to force sale of the Chargers. Dea Spanos Barabian, I don't know. His sister, a co-owner of the Los Angeles Chargers, is going to court in an attempt to force the team to be sold. Dea is the sister of Dean, who is often described as a Chargers owner, but only owns 15% of the franchise. His sister Dea also owns 15%, as do their two siblings, and 36% is owned by the Spanos Family Trust. It goes on to say that Dean refuses to consider a sale of the trust's interest in the Chargers, insisting that the co-trustees continue to borrow more and more and force the charities and beneficiaries to wait for years and to hope, while Dean speculates further on a football team, the court filing said. According to the Los Angeles Times, quote, Dean has failed to present any plan to address the trust's bleak financial picture because there is no other plan than the one urged by Dea. Dean simply refuses to discuss it. His plan is, quote, hope. Dea's legal team herself says that the trust debts and expenses exceed $353 million, although Barabian says her brother has agreed to retain an investment bank at the end of the 2024 season to find a new owner. She says the debt's piling up and the trust can't wait that long. Here's the thing, and I'm going to address two things. Number one, kind of hate to say I told you so, but, I said this even a couple of years ago, that this is exactly what was going to end up happening with the Spanoses and everything else. They were eventually going to get bled out. The NFL is not happy with them going rogue and the things that they did in order to get into Los Angeles and going against the hierarchy of the NFL, Jerry Jones, and everybody that controls everything. That really made them mad that they didn't play ball the way they wanted them to. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there's now this rumor that Jeff Bezos, Jeff Bezos has been kicked around for like the last, 2-3 years about being an NFL owner. Listen, it would make sense him getting into the Los Angeles market because Jeff Bezos is not going to be second fiddle to anybody. That's the problem. Stan Kroenke is the big dog in that boneyard. Do you honestly think that Stan Kroenke is going to roll over and allow Jeff Bezos and here's his nearly $200 million to come in and do something like that? It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I see a better chance of Jeff Bezos becoming the new owner of the Washington football team over in D.C. than I see an opportunity there in that particular situation. Now, what that does arise now is the question and everything that's getting thrown out there that, well, what does this mean for St. Louis? I hate to tell you this, but it means absolutely jack-o'-billy squat for St. Louis. And actually, it hurts St. Louis's case if you're talking about actually getting the Chargers, and I'll explain why. The Chargers right now out in L.A., and this is an estimated value of about $2.8 billion. It could be 2.5 billion, somewhere in that vicinity. So you got to have somebody with some scratch. If you have somebody that is smart enough of a business person and has that kind of money to be able to buy in and to buy a franchise, don't you think that they would want to stay in a big, massive market? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it could be Bezos. Maybe that's the whole point of why they need, Kroenke needs help out there now. He's eating $6 billion worth of stadium that he wasn't intended, an extra $4 billion that he was not accounting for to have to pay. So you have to take all of these little bits of things into consideration. What that does is I think that should finally put a nail in the coffin of the consistent rumors that constantly get kicked around about the Chargers ending up in St. Louis. Now, is there still an outside chance that something could potentially possibly happen? Maybe, but I find it highly improbable, next to impossible, that could potentially be the case. Let's not forget, with the St. Louis lawsuit and what's going on with that between the city of St. Louis and the NFL, they are making it extraordinarily clear that they do not want a Rams 2.0. They do not want another retread. They do not want another NFL reject in the city of St. Louis and in this market. If St. Louis is going to get anything, St. Louis is going to get an expansion team. And I'm getting really irritated by the constant idea of, let's just jump on any breathing body that's just sitting out here in the NFL. Oh my gosh, let's take this team. Oh my gosh, let's just take that team. Let's get an expansion team. The NFL is over a barrel with the city of St. Louis. We've got them right where we want them. Let's just finish the game. It ain't that hard. So when it comes to this thing, it's still interesting. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on it. I'm going to be watching it. I'll update you guys as news comes along. But I fair warn you, this does not immediately impact anything to do with St. Louis. So let's just go ahead and leave it at that. I think is a more interesting situation at hand here, talking about the family dynamics and everything that goes on with that in an NFL ownership group. But it also kind of tells a tale of how bad the situation is with the ownership of the now Los Angeles Chargers. Could they be going back to San Diego? Hey, it's a possibility. Could they be staying in LA? That could happen too. But I think if Jeff Bezos was a smart man and he bought or managed to buy the Los Angeles Chargers, I think the smart move, the smart money, is you move them back to San Diego. You build a brand new stadium over there in San Diego. You move them back. They were there for umpteen years. Take them back. That's where they belong. That's where they need to stay. St. Louis, as far as I'm concerned, needs an expansion franchise, period. They don't need another retread. I don't think that there's anybody out there that's within the sound of my voice or that's watching this or listening to it on any platform that's going to disagree with me and to say, oh, yeah, we want the Jaguars. Oh, yeah, we want. Here's the thing. We want an expansion franchise, period. If we can't get that, then maybe we might look at some other options. But I have suffered through the loss of two, and actually, if you really want to count it, three potential franchises with the Big Red in 88, lost out on the Stallions in the expansion franchise debacle that was in the early 90s, 92, 93, 94. And then in the Rams in 95. Okay, I've lost out on, or actually I should say 2015. So we've lost out on all of those. I don't want to have another retread and a reject to come into this market, rip our hearts out again, stomp all over us, kick the dead body on the way out the door. I want local ownership. I want somebody who's dedicated to the market. I want somebody who understands it, and that's how I feel about it. So we're going to keep an eye on it. I just wanted to bring this to your guys' attention. Go check it out. It's all over social media right now. It's everywhere. We're going to get after it. All right? Guys, take care. Enjoy opening day. Go Cardinals.
This is the Derek King Sports Show. Cardinals, Blues, Mizzou Athletics, Chiefs. He has it covered. The Derek King